it on, everybody? This is Sean of Raw Select Music. Today I want to talk about this record right here. This is Sam Gendel's Fresh Bread, released on Leaving Records on February 26, 2021. Now, seeing as how I'm a huge fan of Sam Gendel's work, I'm kind of surprised that this one managed to slip underneath my radar until the last month of the year. Nevertheless, once I found it, I listened to some clips of it and ordered it immediately, and ever since I've picked it up, I've been listening to it quite a bit. So today I wanted to share my thoughts and opinions of this record and let you know why I think it's worth checking out. So with that being said, let's talk about this guy. So for those of you who may not know, Sam Gendel, an LA-based saxophonist, producer, frequent collaborator of Louis Cole, Carlos Nino, Sam Wilkes, and many others, has become known for his innovative and unique approach to making music through a mix of found-sampled sounds, effects processing, and traditional instrumentation. Be it jazz, ambient, hip-hop, soul, funk, electronic music, or an inspired mix of everything, he's managed to carve out a space for himself that makes it so every single project that comes from him is different from the last. Fresh Bread, a 51-track digital download, 3-cassette tape set, and a self-curated 2-LP collection of home recordings and live performances only cements his status further as a name to be on the lookout for. Reviews for the album are a bit scant, but Pitchfork seemed fairly positive about the album, with it being rewarded a decent 6.5, and the final paragraph of the review having this to say about the hodgepodge nature of this odds and sods collection. So what do I think about this album right here? If anyone was thinking about getting into Sam Gendel's music, I would definitely point them in the direction of this album first, just because it's basically the perfect overview of all aspects of Sam Gendel's sound. It's got a bit of the jazz, it's got a bit of the hip-hop, it's got a little bit of the funk, the soul, the ambient, the electronic music. Basically, if there's a sound that I associate with Sam Gendel's music, it's on this record, and it's well represented. Despite the fact that this is a collection of home recordings, even when he's really not trying that hard, he still is one of the most unique, creative, inspiring, and just honestly, like, one of the most fun artists to listen to out there. When it comes to the ambient stuff, some of the ambient tracks on here are absolutely fantastic. From the warm and inviting ambient sounds of tracks like Eternal Loop, Waraku 3, and Wash featuring Carlos Nino, to the more beat-heavy sounds of a track like Alto Voices, to the almost off-kilter vibe of an IDM-sounding track like Roomba. There's really just a little bit of everything being covered on this album. And despite the fact that sax is primarily the instrument that he is known for, he often shows off that he is just as comfortable when he's branching out into other instruments, whether it's electronic drums, guitar, synths, and so on. There really doesn't seem like there's an instrument on here that he seems uncomfortable with. And all of this is also brought together by the fact that there are some fantastic moods, melodies, and ambience contained with each one of the tracks on here, and it's all further tied together by some fantastic sequencing and hand selection by Sam Gendel himself, since this album is pared down to only 18 tracks as opposed to the absolutely intimidating 51-track digital download. So this is a far more digestible way to listen to this album. Honestly, I really don't know what else to say about this. I generally love everything about this album. There are a few songs that come off as a little bit undercooked. Specifically, two of the last two tracks on here, Iguana King and Iguana Queen, just feel a little bit noodly. And there are a few other moments on this album that have that same sort of noodly freeform vibe where the track never really coalesces into anything interesting. But those moments are few and far between, and they honestly really don't weigh down the listening experience, at least for me, while listening to this project. Overall, I gotta say, it's a consistently interesting, intoxicating, and inspired listen from one of my favorite artists of the last 4 years or so. And I have a feeling that I'm going to be coming back to it again and again, because I seem to pick up on a new track or a new sound or a new layer every time that I listen to it. And it just becomes more and more rewarding every time that I pick it up again. So yeah, I'm just going to leave it there. If you haven't listened to Sam Gendel's Fresh Bread, I wish I had picked this up earlier, because this would have definitely ended up pretty high on my end of the year list. But nevertheless, still a dope album, and definitely comes highly recommended from me. So that's going to be it for me today, guys. Thanks as always for watching. If you've listened to this record for yourself, please let me know what you thought about it down in the comments. If you want to hear this record for yourself, please head over to my WordPress blog, because that's where I'll be posting music links to any of the records that I talk about on this channel. And don't forget to go follow me over on Twitch for Live from the Record Room, my weekly DJ live stream where I play records like the ones that I talk about in these videos, as well as a whole host of other records in my collection that I don't get a chance to talk about on this channel. Links to everything, as always, down in the description. But that's going to be it for me today, guys. Thanks as always for watching, and I will catch you in the next video. So until then, peace out!